Plaintiff Steve Godfrey rented a house to the defendants, and at first things were good. Steve claims after the defendant was in a car accident, they were unable to pay rent, so Steve is suing. Defendants Amanda Parsons and her husband Sean say after Sean was in a near-fatal car accident, Steve told them they didn't have to worry about paying the rent. They're countersuing because they claim Steve assaulted their 7-year-old nephew.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I met the tenants, the Parsons, in March. They rented a house for me. First 3 months went wonderful.
What was the agreement?
The agreement was that they would live with their his brother and his wife and their 5 or 6 children. I don't.
The amount of the rent.
The amount of the rent, $1,700.
All right. And that was when did they move in?
March 1st of this year.
All right. Go ahead.
For the first 3 months, everything went great. I thought they were great tenants. Then I started to observe that they were doing a lot of partying, having bonfires, drinking. 3 months later, Sean, the defendant, and his brother, Steve, were in a drunk driving accident where they were both
sir, can I
severely...
interrupt, please?
Yes, what?
That was not correct. Our brother was drugged. He was roofied at a bar. They had only had 2 drinks that night. They weren't drunk.
Did the authorities get involved?
Yes, and there is a full case.
Did they go to court?
I'm not aware of that, Your Honor.
Did they
They
go to
were in
court?
intensive care.
Right now, the bar is under investigation for
I
multiple...
said, did they go to court
No,
for
there has
the
been-
charges that he's discussing?
No, there was no charges.
Okay, they weren't charged.
Not at this point, Your Honor.
How do you know so much about it then?
The day after Amanda came to me, the only vehicle they had was totaled in this accident. The entire situation was explained to me by them.
Okay.
They wanted to borrow a vehicle from me.
So they said, we were drunk driving and crashed, so can we borrow yours? Does that make sense to you?
No, Your Honor.
What happened again?
The drivers of the vehicle...
The other drivers, not...
It was a single vehicle accident. We rolled the car. Both of our blood alcohol contents were under the legal limit.
Okay.
My brother's toxicology report came back, and there was drugs in his system that were a very high dose.
Of something that you can't even get without a prescription for seizures.
What type?
Benzodiazepine.
It makes you black out.
Yes, and it causes amnesia.
Okay.
That's news to me, Your Honor.
Well, that's not true because
It didn't. It doesn't do that to you. You open yourself up for that. All right. So that's what you say, and the defendants regarding the drunk driving say it's different. So let's move on. What type of tenants were they?
They were really good tenants, Your Honor, for the first 3 months. The accident occurred. They were all of a sudden unable to pay the rent. I've got text messages from them asking, do we need to worry about the rent?
What do you mean, do we need to worry about it?
Exactly. Exactly. And I said, absolutely. The
He
rent.
said, no, don't worry about it. Just give me my money. Don't worry.
Yes.
May I interrupt again?
Yes.
I had messaged him the night of the accident, informed him that my husband and our brother were in a car accident. And the next morning he called me, and I have a witness statement from my mother-in-law who overheard the conversation also of him saying, do not worry about July's rent.
Okay, I'm curious about why you called him right after the accident.
I didn't call him. I just informed him that there was an accident.
How did you inform him?
I texted him, informed him.
Okay, texting these days? No, I didn't call him. I texted him. All that's smart to me. That's being a smarty.
I'm
and
sorry.
that doesn't get you very far in here. Facts, it puts you in the hole.
I'm sorry.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
Steve was the driver, Sean's brother. Okay, he was the primary income earner, and his wife was a secondary primary.
But were they injured and unable to go to work?
Yes.
Okay.
Steve was, yes. He was in intensive care
There you go.
for a long time.
That's what I need to hear. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And what was your response?
My response was, yes, the rent still has to be paid.
Okay. And you have that text?
Yes.
All right. You give me some background on whatever you want me to know.
He was not the primary earner. His wife was, and he's an independent contractor. His work was slow at the time, and I worked full time as well. All three of us were earners in the house, while my wife was that home parent for all of the children and the housekeeper. And as far as the conversation that was said about paying rent, I have the witness statement of my mother-in-law that
Your mother.
my mother, I'm sorry, that stated that not to worry about July's rent.
She told you not to worry about her rent.
No.
She told you not to worry about his rent?
No, my mother overheard him saying that we didn't have to pay July's
Overheard
rent.
him saying it to who? To you all?
My wife.
She overheard it.
Yes.
All right.
I was still in the hospital at the time, so.
Tell me about this phone conversation, ma'am, that your mother-in-law overheard, or?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I had my phone on speakerphone. I don't have the best phone. It's broken, so I use it on speakerphone. So my husband was in the room, as was my mother-in-law. He told us not to worry about July's rent, and that if we needed a vehicle, he would give my husband the black.
When did he say that?
It was the day after the accident, Your Honor.
When was the accident?
June 7th of this year.
Okay, so on June 8th,
Yes.
he said, don't worry about it. Was it ever discussed again?
Well, he told me that rent still needed to be paid, so that's why I texted him asking him if it needed to happen still.
I'm confused. I thought all that was to say he forgave the debt. Now you're coming back around and saying he didn't forgive the debt.
Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly what happened.
Guess what?
That is what happened. He told us
He forgave the debt?
Yep, and then told us that we had to pay it and served us with a 5-day notice.
Okay, show me where he forgave it.
I don't.
Oh, that was only by phone.
Yes.
Because he has it by text.
Okay.
Here says rent need to be paid.
Yes.
And your counterclaim for harassment and emotional distress is for what?
Go ahead.
He would come over to the house drunk all the time. He would get out of his car drinking beers. He physically assaulted my nephew, who was 7 at the time.
Why?
He smacked him.
Why? Do you know?
He was trying to get all the kids to play with him, and none of them wanted to. They all.
He was trying to. He was trying to get all the kids to play with him.
Yes, sir. And he proceeded to smack him.
Because he wouldn't play
Yes,
with
sir.
him. Okay. How about the other kids? He let them off the hook?
No, the rest of the kids went inside.
They ran
because
when they saw the other one getting smacked.
They don't like him. And my eldest niece, every time he would come over, she would go outside.
What did the police say? Did they arrest him?
There was no police report filed.
Are you kidding me? This man physically abuses a 7-year-old, and you don't call the police on a man that physically abuses a 7-year-old? I can't believe you.
It wasn't our place, Your Honor. It was our brother's.
Oh, yes, it is. You see a 7-year-old getting physically abused by a grown-up, it's everybody's place to call the police. So, I'm going to dismiss your claim and grant yours. Their only defense was you told them they didn't have to pay, and clearly this says they do. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're a piece of and I hope you go to hell.
What's up, Amanda?
You're a piece of I hope you're happy with yourself slapping my 7-year-old nephew, coming into my house when I'm laying in bed. You were in our garage using my brother's tools while he was lying in the hospital, half dead. I have pictures. I hope you die.
I was in the garage fixing a lawnmower so that you could mow the grass.
No, you weren't.
When the lawnmower...
Actually, you brought your own lawnmower and you mowed the grass yourself because my brother couldn't do it. That was probably the only nicest thing that you did for us.
How about the vehicle you're driving now?
Yeah,
What
the
about
car.
that? Where'd you get that from?